Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So today is May 21st, 2021. We'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Answers by Citing the Lord's Version, Text 32. Narayanam namaskatya naram chava narotanam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Naranarayana, Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Once again, February 21st, 2932. We'll do the word for word. Yavan,
Yavan
Aham,
Aham
Yatobhavo,
Yathabhavo
Yad,
Yad
Rupa,
Rupa
Guna,
Guna
Karmaka,
Karmaka
Tataiva,
Tataiva
Tattva,
Tattva
Vijnanam,
Vijnanam
Astu,
Astu
Te,
Te
Mad Anugrahat,
Madanugrahat
Yavanaham Yatabhavo,
Yavanaham Yatabhavo
Yad Rupa Guna Karmaka,
Yarupa Gunakarmaka
Tataiva Tattva Vijnanam,
Tataiva Tattva Vijnanam
Astu Te Mad Anugrahat,
Astute Madanugrahat
Yavanaham Yatabhavo,
Yavanaham Yatabhavo
Yad Rupa Guna Karmaka,
Yadrupa Gunakarmaka
Tataiva Tattva Vijnanam,
Tataiva Tattva Vijnanam
Astu Te Mad Anugrahat,
Astute Madanugrahat
Yavanaham Yatabhavo,
Yavanaham Yatabhavo
Yad Rupa Guna Karmaka,
Yadrupa Gunakarmaka
Tataiva Tattva Vijnanam,
Taiva Tattva Vijnanam
Astu Te Mad Anugrahat,
Astite Madanugrahat Yavan Aham Yatabhavo
Yavanaham Yatabhavo,
Yadrupa Gunakarmaka
Yad Rupa Guna Karmaka,
Tataiva Tattva Vijnanam
Tataiva Tattva Vijnanam,
Astute Madanugrahat
Astu Te Mad Anugrahat,
Yavanaham Yatabhavo
Yavanaham Yatabhavo,
Yadrupa Gunakarmakaha
Yad Rupa Guna Karmaka,
Tataiva Tattva Vijnanam
Tataiva Tattva Vijnanam,
Astute Madanugrahat
Astute madanugrahat.
Yavanaham yata bhavo
Yavanaham yata bhavo.
yadrupa guna karmaka
Yadrupa guna karmaka.
tataiva tattva vijnanam
Tataiva tattva vijnanam.
astu te matanugrahat.
Astute madanugrahat. Anyone else like to repeat the verse?
Yes, please. Yavaham yata bhavo
Yavanaham yata bhavo.
yadrupa guna karmakaha
Yadrupa guna karmakaha.
tataiva tattva vijnanam
Tataiva tattva vijnanam.
astute madanugrahat.
Astute madanugrahat. Okay, we'll do the word for word. Yavan,
Yavan,
as I am in eternal form.
as I am in eternal form.
Aham,
Aham,
myself.
myself.
Yata,
Yata,
as much as.
much as.
Bhava,
Bhava,
bhavaha,
bhava,
transcendental existence.
transcendental existence.
Yat,
Yat,
those,
those,
rupa,
rupa,
various forms and colors.
various forms and colors.
Guna,
Guna,
qualities.
qualities.
Karmakaha,
Karmakaha,
activities.
activities.
Tata,
Tata,
so and so.
so and so.
Eva,
Eva,
certainly.
certainly.
Tattva vijnanam,
Tattva vijnanam,
factual realization.
factual realization.
Astu,
Astu,
let it be.
let it be.
Te,
Te,
unto you.
unto you.
Mat,
Mat,
my.
my.
Anugrahat,
Anugrahat,
by causeless mercy.
by causeless mercy.
Translation, all of me, namely, my actual eternal form and my transcendental existence, color, qualities, and activities, let all be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The secret of success in understanding the intricacies of knowledge of the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is the causeless mercy of the Lord. Even in the material world, the father of many sons discloses the secret of his position to the pet sons. The father discloses the confidence unto the son who he thinks worthy. An important man in the social order can be known by his mercy only. Similarly, one must be very dear to the Lord in order to know the Lord. The Lord is unlimited. No one can know him completely, but one's advancement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord can make one eligible to know the Lord. Here we can see that the Lord is sufficiently pleased with Brahmaji, and therefore he offers his causeless mercy to him so that Brahmaji may have the factual realization of the Lord by his mercy only. In the Vedas also it is said that a person cannot know the absolute truth personality of Godhead simply by dint of mundane education or intellectual gymnastics. One can know the supreme truth if one has unflinching faith in the bona fide spiritual master as well as in the Lord. Such a faithful person, even though illiterate in the mundane sense, can know the Lord automatically by the mercy of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita also, it is said that the Lord reserves the right of not being exposed to everyone, and he keeps himself concealed from the faithless by his Yogamaya potency. To the faithful, the Lord reveals himself in his form, quality, and pastimes. The Lord is not formless, as wrongly conceived by the impersonalist, but his form is not like one that we have experienced. The Lord discloses his form even to the extent of measurement to his pure devotees. And that is the meaning of Yavan, as explained by Srila Jiva Goswami, the greatest scholar of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Lord discloses the transcendental nature of his existence. The mundane wranglers make mundane conceptions of the form of the Lord. It is said in the revealed scriptures that the Lord has no mundane form. Therefore, persons with a poor fund of knowledge conclude that he must be formless. They cannot distinguish between the mundane form and the spiritual form. According to them, without a mundane form, then one must be formless. This conclusion is also mundane, because formlessness is the opposite conception of form. Negation of mundane conception does not establish a transcendental fact. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord has a transcendental form and that he can utilize any one of his senses for any, any purpose. For example, he can eat with his eyes. He can see with his leg. In the mundane conception of form, one cannot eat with one's eyes or see with his leg. That's the difference between the mundane body and the spiritual body of Satchit Ananda. A spiritual body is not formless. It's a different type of body, of which we cannot conceive with our present mundane senses. Formless, therefore, means devoid of mundane form, or possessing a spiritual body of which the non-devotee can have no conception by the speculative method. The Lord discloses to the devotee his unlimited varieties of transcendental bodies, all identical with one another, with different kinds of bodily features. Some of the transcendental bodies of the Lord are blackish, some of them are whitish, some of them are reddish, some are yellowish, some of them are four-handed, some of them two-handed, some of them are like the fish, some are like the lion. All of these different transcendental bodies of the Lord, without any differential category, are disclosed to the devotees of the Lord by the mercy of the Lord. And thus the impersonalist false arguments claiming the formlessness of the supreme truth do not appeal to a devotee of the Lord, even though such a devotee may not be very advanced in devotional service. The Lord has unlimited numbers of transcendental qualities. One of them is his affection for his unalloyed devotee. In the history of the mundane world, we can appreciate his transcendental qualities. The Lord incarnates for the protection of his devotees and for the annihilation of the faithless. His activities are in relationship with his devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of such activities of the Lord in relationship with his devotees. The non-devotees have no knowledge of such pastimes. The Lord lifted Govardhan Hill when he was only 7 years old. He protected his pure devotees in Vrindavan from the wrath of Indra, who was overflooding the place with rain. Now, this lifting of the Govardhan Hill by a 7-year-old boy may be unbelievable for the faithless, but for the devotees, it is absolutely believable. The devotee believes in the almighty potency of the Lord, while the faithless say that the Lord is almighty, but they do not believe it. Such men with a poor fund of knowledge do not know that the Lord is the Lord eternally, and that one cannot become the Lord by meditation for millions of years, or by mental speculation for billions of years. The impersonal interpretation of the mundane wranglers is completely refuted in this verse because it is clearly stated here that the Supreme Lord has his qualities, form, pastimes, and everything that a person has. All these descriptions of the transcendental nature of the personality of Godhead are factual realizations by the devotee of the Lord, and by the causeless mercy of the Lord, they are revealed to his pure devotee and to no one else. Okay, quite a lot there. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Sva Padantikam. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tamsa Jivam Sadvitam Sabadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindaveshvari Vishabhanu Supte Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Panchakalpa Tarubrascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Miti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Yavanaham yatabhavo yadrupa guna karma kaha tataiva tattva vijnanam astute mad anugrahat. All of me, namely my actual eternal form and my transcendental existence, color, qualities, and activities, let all be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy. So there's quite a lot of stuff here in the purport, and I won't be hitting all of it, but I will be focusing pretty much on this phrase causeless mercy, which appears so many times in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And I really wanted to, dive deeply into that phrase and really explore the meaning of it. So in the purport, again, we're on 2932. Srila Prabhupada writes in the first sentence there, the secret of success. We're talking about that yesterday, the secret of success. Secret of success to understanding all about Krishna is the causeless mercy of the Lord. Without the causeless mercy, we're not going to understand his form, his pastimes, his qualities. It's not going to happen. The Lord was very happy with Brahma's austerities, so he was pleased with Brahma, so he decided to give Brahma his causeless mercy so that Brahma could factually realize the Lord. And as Srila Prabhupada says, the Lord reserves the right to reveal himself only to those with unflinching faith. That's a pretty powerful adjective there. Unflinching faith. So yeah, unflinching. I don't know. I think of like a lion in a lion's den, and the lion tamer has the whip, unflinching. So you can't even flinch, even if you're getting whipped by the material energy. You have to have faith in Lord, unflinching faith. And if you don't have that, then you're never going to get the full realization of Krishna's form, and he will keep it concealed to you by Yogamaya, actually. So there are a few examples of times when even those who or maybe don't have unflinching faith, but still through Krishna's causeless mercy, he allows us to see a form. Even though our senses are imperfect, we cannot see the transcendental spiritual form. We don't have transcendental vision. Our senses are materially contaminated. Okay, but there is one form that, because of the Lord's causeless mercy, that's word anugrahat, causeless mercy, we can see the murtis in the temple. Archa Vigraha, Sachit Ananda Vigraha, the murtis in the temples. That's one form that we can see with our mundane eyes through the causeless mercy of Krishna. Other than that, you're going to need the causeless mercy to really fully understand all of the Lord's qualities, pastimes, and all of the innumerable forms, so many forms of Krishna. You have the boar form, you have the fish, Matsya, Varaha, you have the dwarf form, you have the lion, Narsimha. So all of these forms, innumerable forms, to fully understand them, you're going to need the causeless mercy of the Lord. I'm going to talk more about causeless mercy in a bit. But another analogy that actually it's quite a beautiful metaphor for causeless mercy, explaining it a little bit more. It's in Srimad Bhagavatam, the 11th canto, chapter 20, verse 17. And Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport there that the causeless mercy of the Lord is also compared to favorable winds that help the perfectly constructed boat of the body. So our body is a boat, okay? And with these favorable winds and the assistance of the captain of the ship, who is, guess who? The spiritual master. He's the captain of the ship. And with the help of the causeless mercy of these favorable winds, the boat can cross the ocean of material existence and sail smoothly on its course back to Godhead. So the spiritual master is the navigator of this boat. boat is plavam, and this boat, our human body, is sukalpam. It's extremely well suited for its purpose. So yes, the human body is the ideal place to go if you want to make the jump to the next level, right? And to make advancement, and if we're lucky, get into the spiritual world. So this is the perfectly constructed boat that we've been given. And with the spiritual master, we can guide this goat all the way to Goloka Vrindavan. That's basically the idea here. Plavam Sukalpam Guru Karnadaram. Guru Karnadaram, having the spiritual master as the captain of this boat, and with the favorable winds that are the instructions of the Veda, then we can make it across this ocean of material existence. Across this ocean of miseries here. Yeah. So this then Prabhupada talks about some people who've fallen into ignorance, and they're misleading people into boarding a boat made of stone, a stone boat, Ashma Plava. So obviously a stone boat is not going to get very far. It's just going to sink, and people are going to drown, and basically go to hell, according to Prabhupada. And so then he says that American people are sometimes found to patronize the makers of stone boats. Yeah, so you're not going to, even with a favorable wind, you're not going to get anywhere in a stone boat. So the boat ride that you want to take is the perfectly constructed boat with the spiritual master at the helm, sailing through the ocean, taking you back to Godhead. And this favorable wind is the causeless mercy. This is the whole point of all this, is that just explain about what causeless mercy can accomplish. So the favorable winds are the causeless mercy. I'm going to take a little sidetrack here and talk about a boat experience that I had in a Hare Krishna temple in Sweden in July of 2007. And while I did get a very good realization for myself and my spiritual progress at that time. So I'm going to tell this short little story here, and then we'll get back to causeless mercy. So in 2007, in July, let's see, I had been married with my wife for about 3 years. So we went to Sweden and we visited the Almviksgård Krishna farm community there, where my wife had lived for 16 years, the best years of her life, really, in a Krishna conscious farm community, and serving the deities and going on Harinam. Anyway, I went to visit there with her. They have a large lake right next door there, kind of rust-colored lake, as I remember. Of course, I visited in July, but the water was way too cold to swim in. But anyway, this was my first time in Sweden and first time with the Swedish devotees, who most of them speak English, but I wasn't able to connect with too many of the devotees there. And it was kind of at loose ends, trying to find things to do. So I saw on the bulletin board, the community bulletin board, that there was going to be a boat ride. That was in big print, said boat ride, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m., meet at the lake. So I said, oh, cool. I love, I want to ride on the lake in a boat. That'll be fun. The other devotees, Sounds like fun. I was immediately interested. I couldn't imagine what kind of boat, though, could take a group of people on the lake because, most devotees don't have a lot of money. I wasn't expecting a 35-foot yacht there, sailboat, take us around the lake. It's a what kind of boat? What's going to happen here? So I was hoping for some fun that night. So Wednesday comes around. I head down to the lake. On my way down to the lake, I could hear kirtan going on. I hear mridangas. There was an ecstatic kirtan going on. There were lots of people, about 70 people gathered there on the lake. Mothers, fathers, children, families. Everyone's singing and dancing to the kirtan. And I'm thinking, well, wait, how are all these people going to get on the boat? I mean, we don't have a ferry boat. It's not going to show up and take us on a boat ride. What's going to happen here? Anyway, I look out on the lake and I see in the distance, okay, there's a boat, a small boat, like a small rowboat coming our way. And I'm getting a little excited. I'm thinking, okay, great, here comes my ride. The boat gets closer. I could make out it's a very small rowboat with flower garlands on it. And I thought, well, okay, how's this going to happen? Like I said, there's like 70 people here. Even if we take turns, 2 or 3 at a time on the boat, it's going to take hours for me to get my ride here, This is impossible. And my mood began to sour a little bit when I saw, well, this is not exactly what I expected here. So anyway, the boat begins to make gentle circles closer to the dock, and I look closer on the boat, and I see that on the boat's bench, there are murtis of Lord Gauranga and Nityananda on the bench. And there's a devotee next to them, with the peacock fan, waving the fan on the deities in the boat. And Gauranga and Nityananda were having a wonderful, grand old time being rowed around on the lake hither and thither. And the devotees on the shore, were doing dandavats to the deities on the boats. And everybody was quite blissful. Everyone was quite blissful, except for one pissed off, disappointed elderly American visitor, me. I said, what kind of boat ride is this? So then the realization finally struck me. It took me a while, I'm a little slow. I said to myself, schmuck, the boat ride is for the pleasure of the deities, not for you, you selfish prick. Then I realized how deficient my devotion to Krishna really was, how I was not in a service mentality at all. I was just thinking about what could happen to please myself, not how do I please God. So like, as had been noted before by several people, like I'm the most self-centered person I'll ever meet. So anyway, I was kind of like a show bottle phony devotee at that point, just kind of beginning actually in my Krishna consciousness. And now I'm 14 years later. I'm not sure how much further advanced I am, but at least that boat ride was quite instrumental in pointing out to me how self-centered I really was and how much I was like out of the loop with what the consciousness was of the group and everybody else. So I felt like even more of an outsider at that point and realized, I'm the only one here that's bummed out. He's not getting a boat ride. Everyone else is quite ecstatic. The Lords are getting a nice boat ride. So anyway, I thought I'd throw that one out there. Let's get back to the text, 2:9:32. So yes, all of me will be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy. Okay, so I really didn't understand this term, causeless mercy. What is causeless mercy? I've given some examples of what causeless mercy can do. It can be the favorable wind in the sails of our boat as we're crossing the material ocean. It can help us see the forms of God in the murtis at the temple. But really, this doesn't really say what exactly is causeless mercy, and most importantly, how do we get it? And what causes causeless mercy? What causes it? That sounds like a bit of a conundrum, right? What causes causeless mercy? So I tried to do some research in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Causeless mercy is mentioned hundreds of times, but not much explanation about it. There was one mention of Prabhupada during a morning walk, and he says this. He says about causeless mercy, he says, the mercy is causeless, but mercy is the cause. The mercy is causeless, but mercy is the cause. Well, I couldn't get my head around that. That didn't really help. It just added another layer of confusion to my mind. It's so easy to stay in confusion for me. So I still need to ask this question, what causes causeless mercy? It sounds like one of those Zen koans, you know, earlier on in my life, I was studying Zen Buddhism. So the Zen master would ask the disciple or the aspiring student something like, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Have you ever heard that? What is the sound of one hand clapping, right? So your mind kind of like explodes when you try and figure that one out. And then another one of my favorite philosophers had similar statements that were quite amusing, actually. Things like, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Okay, how do you tell when you're out of invisible ink? And why do psychics have to ask you your name? And all of us, you know, I'm getting older, you know, I'm definitely in old age, but what is the youngest that you can die of old age? And for you astronomers out there, you know, recently I was taking a course. There was a lot of astronomy involved in it, talking about, you know, other galaxies, how far the nearest star, like the nearest star to us is 3.2 light years away, Proxima Centauri. So what is the speed of dark? And then my daughter Naimi, who I love, she plays with her Barbie dolls in my house, you know. And I have to ask this question about Barbies, the Barbie dolls. So if Barbie is so popular, why do you always have to buy her friends? Okay. And last of all, the final enigmatic question is, if you were going to shoot a mime, would you use a silencer? So I want to thank my favorite philosopher, the humorist Stephen Wright, for some of those inspirational conundrums. But let's get back to what causes causeless mercy. That's the main conundrum here. And for that, I had to go to someone called the spiritual scientist, www.thespiritualscientist.com. His name is Chaitanya Charan. He's an Indian gentleman. Actually, he came to New Ramanreti one weekend giving classes. So he's very knowledgeable. And he explains some things like that need further explication, like causeless mercy. So he gave some answers to this enigma. So what causes causeless mercy? Is causeless mercy dependent on anything or anyone? And if it is, if the answer is yes, then it's not exactly causeless, is it? Because, causeless mercy seems to depend on Krishna. He's the one that's giving us causeless mercy. So it's not causeless. Why are you calling it causeless? It has a cause, Krishna. And nothing can happen without a cause. But actually, it's explained that causeless here really means no material cause. So causeless mercy does have a cause. It has a spiritual cause, but just not a material cause. And yeah, there was something else in the purport that we just read that was kind of similar. Oh, about what was it about faithlessness. Let's see if I could find it. Well, anyway, where was I? Yeah, so yeah, causeless mercy has a cause, but it's a spiritual cause, Krishna. And then you have the second part of that phrase, mercy. What actually is mercy? And this is really quite a surprise for me. He describes mercy as a favor that's granted to a person who is undeserving. Mercy is a favor granted to someone who is undeserving. So, we have been neglecting Krishna for so many lifetimes, right? We're going about in our many, many lifetimes, not thinking about Krishna, not knowing anything about Krishna consciousness, and then all of a sudden, we're trying to enjoy the material world. We think we're the controller. Then all of a sudden, we're walking down Main Street there, across from UF, and a devotee hands us a book, hands us the Bhagavad Gita, and then some kind devotee gives us some beads. We learn how to chant on the beads, and we start spending a little bit of time chanting Hare Krishna. We're doing the most minimum of devotional service, yet what does Krishna do in return? Because he gives us causeless mercy, we get unlimited lifetimes of eternal bliss, immortality, if we're sincere. Do we really deserve that? Here we've gone like several lifetimes without any Krishna consciousness at all. Now here in this lifetime, okay, so I came to Krishna consciousness when I was 54. So I had 54 years in this lifetime, no Krishna consciousness. So now I've been chanting for 14 years, okay? And, if I'm sincere, Krishna is going to give me the mercy, the causeless mercy, and say, okay, Leonard Cohen, I see you're sincere now. I'm going to take you can come and be with me in Krishna Loka. I don't care about the meat eating at McDonald's you did for 50 years in this lifetime. Now you're surrendering to me. I'm giving you my mercy. And you get Satchidananda. You get a life. You get unlimited. You're out of the material world. You're out of having to take repeated birth and death. No more suffering. You have unlimited, blissful life ahead of you. That is real mercy. Do I deserve that? No, it's undeserved. Krishna is doing me a big favor. My minimal service, does that really make up for the years I was acting in the modes of ignorance and passion? No. But Krishna is so merciful, he gives it to me anyway, or us, not just to me. It's to everybody, right? So the opposite of mercy is justice. Right. So yeah, in justice, nobody's doing you any favors. This is exactly what you deserve. You're getting what you deserve. That's the justice. Okay. So in this case, I'm getting the mercy. I don't really deserve it. It's not really just. It's not like if you look at the scales of I'm a Libra, so you look at the balance here. Okay. How to balance out how much devotional service I've done in the mode of goodness versus how much I've been in the mode of ignorance and passion. No, it's more like this. The scales are like this, right? So scales of justice do not compute. You know, I don't deserve Krishna's mercy, but he's giving it to me. So this is what mercy is all about. Without truly deserving it, Krishna is giving me something I'm not really qualified for. So then we're left with the last thing. How do we get, what makes Krishna decide to give us causeless mercy? Is it, it is actually something that we control, something that we do. Okay, it's bhakti, love of God. So bhakti is not caused by anything outside of itself. So like we can't ask Krishna to give us bhakti. I mean, it's in there, it's in our hearts, it's there. But to get Krishna's causeless mercy, we have to have, we have to do sincere devotional service. That's devotional service unmotivated by any selfish material motivations. So it's not like, okay, I'm gonna chant my rounds this morning if I get a nice boat ride around the lake. No, you need that. You need the unflinching faith, like Brahma's unflinching faith in not just Krishna, but in the spiritual master, the bona fide spiritual master as well. So if you have sincere devotional service, if you have unflinching faith in the spiritual master and in the Lord, then the mercy comes down through Krishna to the pure devotee. That's when Krishna's causeless mercy comes down and helps you to actually see Krishna's transcendental forms, to actually experience his pastimes or fully understand his pastimes, fully understand him and all of his qualities. Okay, that's the only time that we're going to get this true knowledge of the Lord is through our devotional service and having faith, unflinching faith. So my Swedish boat realizations shows that I've got quite an obstacle there to overcome before I will ever know Krishna. As long as I am so self-absorbed and interested just in pleasing myself, materially, gratifying my senses. Krishna's mercy will never really come down on me. Causeless mercy will not be anything I will experience. And so, yeah, of course, Krishna doesn't want to reveal himself just to anybody. He's not coming to reveal himself cheaply. So he will keep himself covered by his Yoga Maya potency to the people like me without unflinching faith. So in the last 14 years, I'm hoping I've made some progress in getting out of this mindset of I, me, mine. You know, I think honestly, the past year or so of really studying Srimad Bhagavatam is helping me get past all that. I think in the beginning of my Krishna consciousness, I read all the books, but nothing sunk in. And I wasn't really reading under the guidance of anybody. I was just sort of basically not doing anything more there. I was scanning the words and my lips were flapping the words, but you know, I was reading the purports. I don't even know if I was reading the purports. I might have been skipping the purports, you know. And that went for the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita as it is, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. You know, I felt the books were, you know, my initial attraction was the music and the food, of course, but then I began to think, well, I want to give reading the books a chance. So I read the books, but without the guidance of anyone, it really didn't sink in. And like I say, it's only maybe in the past year or so now that I'm reading with some guidance that it's becoming more meaningful. So I'm a little bit more hopeful that if I continue on the path, I'll get the causeless mercy. And the next time I visit Almvik's Gord, I won't have unrealistic expectations about boat rides. So, yeah, I mean, there's so much more here in the purport. You know, so many forms of Krishna and so many qualities but I think I'll stop here and allow for some discussion. Okay. So Hare Krishna, if anyone has any comments or questions or anything, who would like to? Let's see. Oh, Anandini, I just lost my video.
Yes.
Anandini, your hand is up. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I'm inspired. It was very enlivening to listen to you. And a few things I like what you said about either we're whipped by material nature or we have unflinching faith. That this just really sunk in as wow. It's as simple as that, and I prefer to choose faith. And you were speaking about causeless mercy, like causeless means there's no cause. And then you went on to say that, or that's what I heard. So, but we need to chant, and we need to, you know, that's what we need to do. So it seems it's not causeless. And I was actually thinking, like, if it's causeless mercy, perhaps, you know, like the fact that we're born on this planet in the human form is already causeless mercy. And perhaps it's more about, that's just my thinking, more about realizing that it's causeless mercy. or to chant, to chant my rounds, I experience that as mercy most of the time, because if it was just me, I wouldn't do it. So it's mercy that I do it. It's mercy that I read and I absorb something, and most of the time, almost all the time, I'm not aware it's mercy.
Yes. So you're saying that it's causeless mercy that we were born into a human body. Yeah. Yeah.
That we're
That
exposed to Krishna consciousness and heard the holy name.
yes. All those things and chanting. So yes, I mean, all those things are devotional. They're all in the mode of goodness. But to really know Krishna, to really know his transcendental forms, to know his pastimes, to understand completely the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you need to have the causeless mercy come down from Krishna to allow you to do that. It's through our process of chanting that we get the causeless mercy. So yeah, so by chanting and by being in the mode of goodness in our human bodies, we have a chance to really know Krishna. Absolutely. And the mercy, like I said, the mercy is something that is we're not really qualified. We don't really deserve it necessarily. It's not really what have we done to deserve Krishna's mercy. Have we really worked hard enough at it? You know what I mean? All these lifetimes have gone by. We've neglected Krishna. So now, yes, now in this lifetime, now we are on the right track. We're on the right path. We will get his causeless mercy. We will get those favorable winds that will take us across the material ocean. So we won't get whipped. And have as much, yes, trying to have faith, unflinching faith. That is really key. Faith in God, faith in the spiritual master. Without that, we're going to be kind of like, we're going to be lost at sea. Yeah.
So what you're saying is that like chanting and the shastras and the spiritual master, that's there, and it's for us to like take shelter and surrender and chant and do these things, engage, practice, and then to really understand or get the mercy of the mercy. It takes mercy. Is that what
it takes Krishna's mercy to really understand God. Yes. We can't do it ourselves. We can't do it by, no matter how much, we can't read it. It's not in the Bhagavatam. Yeah, there are descriptions of Krishna, his form and pastimes, certainly. But but it's all mystical. It's all very mystical. It's all very transcendental. Can we really understand what's going on in the rasa dance? This is something that only comes down through Krishna's causeless mercy. Because he's giving us that knowledge, because we are showing our faith, our unflinching faith and devotion to him and the spiritual master. Then we get the mercy from Krishna to really, truly understand him. That's in the text. My transcendental existence, qualities, and activities, let them all be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy. And without the causeless mercy, we can't completely understand God without Krishna's causeless mercy. But by doing all the things you said, we're on the path to be eligible for his mercy, or a little more qualified for his mercy. Even though we're still not pure devotees. So, yeah, that brings up something in my mind. Yeah, is it only the pure devotees that will get the causeless mercy of the Lord? That's another
that's my,
question.
yeah, I mean, I think that is my question. Is it not already causeless mercy that we get, you know, in contact with the holy name, with Srila Prabhupada, the spiritual master? And then there's it takes more mercy to get to really get to understand or see Krishna as he is.
Yeah. It is some form of mercy to that. Yeah, I met my wife at the Hare Krishna temple in Philadelphia, and that I entered into this spiritual family, so I was able to learn. So that was some kind of mercy being shown there, right? Yeah. But to really know God, it's another level. It's a little bit higher level. I appreciate the distinctions you're making there. Yeah.
Thank you. And I really liked your story about Sweden and the lake. It illustrates very strongly a lot about myself. so thank you.
I mean, I was, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, after that experience at the lake there, I was really in a state of shock and depression. And I just like kind of walked up onto a hillside above the lake there and started thinking about some of these things. And I actually started chanting because despite the fact that I'm so self-centered, I'm looking for ways to, calm my mind down a little bit and stay peaceful. So I was chanting. So it's just that still the focus is on how do I serve myself? How am I going to feel better at this moment? I'm so depressed. I didn't get my boat ride. Let me chant a little bit and I'll calm down. Not let me chant for Krishna because he likes to hear his holy names. Thank you, Anandini.
Thank you.
I'm appreciating several aspects of this discussion. That so I liked how you put that. You were referencing Chaitanya Charanya. Causeless means no material cause, and I like the definition you gave. Mercy means the recipient is not deserving. So no material cause means there could be a spiritual cause, and that's Krishna's sweet will. And then, I'm reminded of the saying, work like everything depends on us, pray like everything depends on Krishna. So we can invite Krishna's causeless mercy by fulfilling our commitment for chanting, by studying Srimad Bhagavatam, and following sadhana bhakti. It doesn't oblige Krishna to give us causeless mercy. At the same time, in that personal relationship, we can invite it by showing our sincerity in that way. And then the point that Anandini emphasized, that the causeless mercy is everywhere. Like, okay, here the sunshine is everywhere. I can hide in a closet and say I don't see any sunshine. But that's my choice to be in the shadows. So studying Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting Hare Krishna. Yeah, these are not mode of material goodness. This is Shuddha Sattva. These are activities these processes are transcendental to the modes of nature, including mundane goodness. So like you mentioned, the rasa dance. Well, the rasa dance is Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna Svadhamopagate, is non-different. Srimad Bhagavatam is an incarnation of Krishna. And the Srimad Bhagavatam reveals the rasa dance. And so Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna, it is causeless mercy. And the Srimad Bhagavatam, like Krishna, is self-revealing. So yes, through applying ourselves to Srimad Bhagavatam, the inner meaning of the rasa dance can be revealed to us if Srimad Bhagavatam chooses. It's not a matter of our mechanical reading. And I appreciated Bhakta Len, how you described the first time you went through the books, like there was like no absorption. Now you're going through again, and there's a much deeper entrance through an interaction of your sincerity and the causeless mercy of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is self-revealing. I'm reminded in the conversation, Srila Prabhupada gives the example, well, it's another boat example. Like if we're floundering and drowning in the ocean, okay, by causeless mercy, a boat comes by and throws us a lifeline. So the lifeline is causeless mercy. And so the lifeline's there. Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting Hare Krishna, Prasadam, the causeless mercy's there. That was what I got from Anandini's main point. Now it's our choice. Srila Prabhupada will often emphasize, goes, it's your choice to grab the lifeline. So like the mercy's there, it's your choice. Prabhupada said, no one's going to force you to grab the lifeline, but the lifeline's there, the causeless mercy's there. Hare Krishna.
Okay, yes. So I appreciate, David, you're saying yes, that the Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different from causeless mercy. It's there. The understanding is there. It's just a matter of are we sincere enough, and do we have enough support from our spiritual master to really grasp what's there, to take that lifeline, like you say. Hare Krishna. Gajendra.
Hare Krishna, good morning.
Morning.
So I want to express a thought which is somewhat narrow, I guess. I guess, there is that one aspect when we try to appreciate causeless mercy. It touches upon, maybe the humility, a healthy humility that can be devotional, emotional in content, that, where I'm undeserving of this, and there's a beauty to that. And the thing is, it is very much built on, what we are willing to receive, that's available, what we're willing to receive, to take advantage of. It can connect to the idea that, as a pious person, wants to surrender to Krishna, to take advantage of the process, to position oneself to being open to taking help. As is often the case, it's sort of due to distress, some acknowledgement of I'm suffering in the material world, that point of honesty about one's situation. But that itself has a cause or a reason. There's a cause or a reason to that. And it is just simply the nature of reality, if one is accepting that their true nature is as part and parcel of Krishna, to be lovingly engaged in service to Krishna. I mean that is ultimately the idea of receiving causeless mercy, to be engaged in devotional service. But there is the sort of cause or reason, just that it's reality. And so I'm addressing that idea of cause. It's not a mindless thing or just something that's coming up. It's there. It's just built into reality, and it's just our becoming, clear, to realign with the truth of who we are. So when we receive these different opportunities, bumping into devotees on the street or finding a book on the bench of the subway, going to college and finding prasadam. There's a deep cause just within the truth and reality of who we are and what's in our spiritual heart that aligns us with that. That's always there. It doesn't take away from the beautiful sentiments of humility that I'm undeserving, but it goes deeper than that. It's just about the reality of who we are that causes those opportunities.
Yeah. So you're saying that the humility is there, but that doesn't interfere or take away from what gifts are out there that we can receive if we're willing to receive them. So, yeah, I appreciate that. The mercy is, like the mercy is always there. Krishna is always, the causeless mercy is around us everywhere. It's like the sunshine. It's like this, like Dear Govinda was saying. Just a matter of, do we have the eyes to see it? Do we have the transcendental vision to see it, see it, and take advantage of it?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I'm thinking at this point that, as my sense was what Gajendra Prabhu was indicating, that because it's a personal reciprocation. So Krishna gives his grace and Srila Prabhupada gives his grace in reciprocation with our sincerity or lack of it. At the same time, it's causeless because they're not obliged. And I'm thinking like this humility, like for ourselves, I think it's most often helpful to cultivate that humble spirit, like I am so undeserving. But like for others, we can see like, wow, they're really getting the mercy and they're so engaged in service and they're joyful and they're like that. We like for others, it's not like, oh, they don't deserve it. For others, like, wow, they're so sincere and Prabhupada and Krishna are giving them the mercy of service. So just want to see like there's the objective philosophy of, and then there's the subjective cultivate humility and appreciate the sincerity in others that they're attracting the mercy. And sometimes this mercy thing, sometimes it's like, yeah, I'll do that service, I'll increase the service, I'll start chanting rounds when I get the mercy, which is kind of missing that opportunity to chant, the opportunity to read Bhagavatam. That is the mercy, and it's our choice to grab the lifeline.
Yeah, I can resonate with that, David. Like, I'm always like sitting waiting for the bliss to come. When am I going to get the bliss from my chanting? When is Krishna going to give it to me? But it's I'm not deserving. I'm not getting it because I'm not deserving. I don't have the faith. If I have I have more faith, I'll have more bliss. Simple.
That was an important part, Dear Govinda. That was definitely an important part of what I was expressing, what you expressed. There was a part I didn't hear reflected back, and that was more sort of going into the idea or a certain aspect of what I think is involved with the idea of causelessness. And that is, it's the eternal, there is the eternal reality of what we are. It's not like, it's just like causeless mercy, like I was never a spirit soul, I was never part and parcel of Krishna. My eternal dharma was not to be engaged in devotional service or relish the pastimes of Krishna. But somehow or other, I got lucky enough to be, like as if like I was never a wealthy person, but I got lucky enough to find the bag of money. How lucky? No, it's really there is a cause, and it's the deepest fundamental reality of who we are. In that sense, addressing there's nothing that would be unexpected or unreasonable or surprising that there's causeless mercy. It's fundamental to reality, and the fact that we do take it and want to take it is based in who we are. So to me, the humility part, is sort of coming into devotional emotion, but on a sort of just trying to sort of maybe like step back and just analyze emotionally. The cause is just who we are. It's just coming back to who we are.
Srila Prabhupada often quotes Nitya Siddha Krishna Preva Sajja Kabunoi Shavanadi Shuddhachite Karye Udai, that he emphasizes Krishna consciousness, love of Krishna. It's not something external to be artificially imposed. It's eternally situated in the hearts of all living entities. We awaken it through the process of hearing and chanting. So that's, that verse comes to me in hearing your sharing there.
Yeah, it's our fundamental nature that's at cause for our receiving the mercy, even though we call it causeless.
Yeah, that's
Right. And the fundamental nature is that we are part and parcel of God. He's right there in our heart. It's just covered up. He has been with us in millions of lifetimes, but we've just been blinded by our own association with matter and the material life. That's created the distance. But so we're ignoring the fundamental truth of who we really are. Yeah.
It's an excellent point. I'm seeing Anandini wrote, I do feel forced by material nature to take hold of the lifeline. That's causeless mercy. Meaning that, okay, so like there are so many who are suffering like anything in material nature, and they're not responding through taking hold of the lifeline of bhakti yoga. There are most living entities suffering like anything in material nature, and perhaps their reaction is to indulge more fiercely in even lower modes of material nature. So that's to respond. I mean, that's what material nature is ultimately and ideally built for, that we respond by grabbing that lifeline. And it takes some combination of causeless mercy and higher intelligence and realizing our fundamental nature to respond to the context of the disturbances of material nature, to grab that lifeline. And clearly not everyone does respond in that way. Hare Krishna.
If I may throw in one more little thing that, it's not so direct, but it touches upon for me, because it isn't a matter of humility about who's taking the lifeline. I don't hear it much anymore, but when I was in the ashram in the 70s, we were very immature, in some ways a very arrogant bunch about who we were in relation to the rest of the societies in the karmis. And so it would sometimes be countered with this phrase, Lord Chaitanya saves the most fallen first. And that was meant to help us, just the fact that we had grabbed that lifeline, try to have a little, remember we're supposed to be humble too. Touched upon it, so I thought of it, so I'd share it. Lord Chaitanya saves the most fallen first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Lord Chaitanya is the most merciful. He's got the most undeserving they're the first ones to get the mercy. All right. Well, thank you everyone for your comments, and Hare Krishna. Have a good day. Haribo.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Jai.